Hey Devin, hi everybody at home. How are you? Thanks so much for joining us. Kimee Balmilero here, proud bright kid since 1989. Don't think about it. Let's just let it happen. I'm so happy to be here with you folks today, not only to see these wonderful performances and of course support a fantastic cause that is so close and dear to our hearts, but I'm here also to connect with some fellow bright kids from around the world. Yes, around the world, living their dream from Las Vegas to California to Japan to Switzerland. Switzerland, that's how big this bright kid Ohana is, okay? So please welcome to our virtual stage, Jordan, Chris, and Clifton. Hey guys.
Hey.
Hi. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's so awesome to see all you folks. Now, I know everyone at home has probably followed your careers since you were in high school, from Mr. Bright Productions, of course. But why don't we go around, introduce yourselves, tell us where you're calling from, and also, when did you become a bright kid?
My name is Jordan Shanahan. I am calling from Bern, Switzerland, and my first experience with Mr. Bright was in 1995 with Damn Yankees. Perhaps you remember.
Yes, I do remember. We were castmates and we got to go on our trip, our thespian trip, which was like one of the highlights of my high school career. Can you call it a career? But so great to
So much
see you
fun.
all the way from Switzerland. Thank you so much for calling in. Clifton, let's shoot it over to you.
Hi guys, my name is Cliffton Hall, calling in from Las Vegas, Nevada. I met Mr. B in 1991 during Hello Dolly.
Ooh, with the fancy, that's the number with the fancy plates or trays,
Ooh,
right? Where
yeah,
you're doing like
yeah,
tricks and
yeah. We
somehow
needed, like,
they don't leave your hands. Maybe we'll get
Yes,
some
that was a
tips later.
secret.
For everyone. That's a secret. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe we won't get that tip. And last but not least, sir, over in California, Chris, hi.
My name is Chris Bright. I'm calling from Sacramento, California, and I was a bright kid from birth.
From birth, yes, give it up for an official bright kid. All of a sudden, like, I'm a bright kid, I'm a bright kid. He's like, move over, check my ID, I am a bright kid. The original grandson, the OGG, right? Yeah.
OGG.
Is that how you say that? OG, an OG, original grandson. Yeah?
It is now.
Yeah. So, Chris, you've had such a fantastic career, of course. You know, we know that you play the drums, you're a musician just like your parents, but also a writer, producer, director with your work on Moana and your original short, Suru, and now writing the script of Aloha Rodeo for Disney. So it's so many wonderful things. How has your grandfather's work influenced your own?
Thank you. That's really kind. And that's a really good question. I think, I'm in a different situation from Jordan and Clifton because I grew up with my grandpa. So all I really know was I was born in 92. You guys can help me out. I think it was maybe West Side Story. I don't know. But I've been around it for years. So I was actually thinking about it recently. Like, I can only kind of retrospectively look back at my life and realize the amount of things that impacted me from him. Just always being creative, being surrounded by people like you guys, being in the pit. Tried to be on the stage. I peed twice when I was a kid. We won't go into the details of that, but then they're like, "You should go in the pit." I think that's a better place for you.
It's a better place to be, maybe.
Yeah. And I loved it there. But then I think now as a storyteller, as like a script writer, I think I've always just been so. I think what I really learned from him is it's all about story. It's all about the heart of what you're trying to get across, what you're telling the audience, and really leading with the heart first. So that's really the way that I try to write scripts, is like with the emotion first, with the characters, and that for sure has had among a myriad of other things, but to dwindle it down, I think that would be, yeah.
Oh, that's so wonderful. And it's so cool to think about that because you said you're kind of on the other side, right? So your reach, the way Mr. B's legacy reaches, it reaches so many other people. and they might not know, but they're totally being touched by his teachings through you, and it's just so great. We're gonna get emotional. That's what this is. But thank you, Chris, so much for that. And Clifton, of course, we know your career with Miss Saigon, Les Mis, Wicked, but a lot of people might not know how you first met Mr. B and why you stepped into his class as a surfer guy, a surfer dude looking to just cruise. So can you, that's the story I've heard anyway, but can you kind of just take us through that moment of like when you first met Mr. Bright, started working with him, and then when did you realize that this is something you actually wanted to pursue professionally?
Oh my gosh, how much time do we have? I met Mr. B in 9th grade. He came to my English class to kind of scout people for the productions at Castle Performing Arts. And after the class, he came up to me and he's like, hey, you should, try and, come out for this. And I was trying to be all cool and all that. And said, oh, okay, well, maybe. Fast forward to my buddy, Roscoe, who's also been through the Performing Arts program, made a bet with me and said, hey, listen, we should go try out for our school play, which was at Kalaheo High School. And I said, are you kidding me, man? We're surfers. We got reps to protect, man. You can't be doing that kind of stuff. And so I made a bet with him, and he said, okay, if I get into this show, you're going to have to audition for the next one. I said, okay, fine. Knowing that he wasn't going to get cast, knowing that, all this stuff, I was like, perfect. It's a great bet that, I can make and I would win. Lo and behold, he got cast in the show, not only in the show, but he was the lead. And I was up there on stage doing, singing, dancing, and acting. And I was just, blown away by, seeing him up there. And so he was like, all right, next one you have to audition. And I said, all right, I lost the bet. And he's like, great. It's going to be Hello Dolly at the Castle Performing Arts Center. And I was like, nice. Are you kidding me, man? That's where, all the Broadway people are performing.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and that's the way I thought of it. And so he said, nope, that's the one. And so I told you this is going to be a long story. And so,
you have a long Mr. Bright career.
I got the courage. Yes, I got the courage to audition. We were doing Hello Dolly. I remember I'd never sang in front of anybody in my life, and I was working with Marcelo and asking him what should I sing and everything like that. And he said, you know what, one of Mr. Bright's favorite song is Amazing Grace. And I said, great. And I'd never heard of it. And I went home and I asked my dad, hey, Dad, do you know this song Amazing Grace? And he's like, yeah. So he kind of taught me through the night. And then I got up stood in front of everybody on that stage. My knees were shaking and just, scared because we're doing it in front of everybody, right?
Yeah.
And from that day, it was I got cast. Both Robert and I got cast in the show.
Same day.
Same day.
If only that's how it happened now.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? Step off the stage.
Right?
You got it. Cool.
You're it. And so, so that was my 10th grade year. And after doing that for that year, it was funny because my dad was like, hey, we got to think about this whole surfer thing, And I was like, I'm going to be a professional surfer, Dad. That's perfect, And so once about a year into the theater, I was like, man, this is fun. This is really a good time. And and then I went to my dad and I said, Dad, you know what? I'm not going to be a surfer. You're right. I'm going to be an actor. And he was like,
your poor father. Dad, you're right. Surfing, no. Acting, yes.
Right.
And now
that's,
and you were like hired right out of high school, right? Or like a year after your high school career, you got Miss Saigon with Robert, your best friend.
For Saigon?
Such a fantastic
and then
story.
then we went off and did Miss Saigon together. We both got cast the same day.
Surfer dudes turned Broadway stars. You guys are like the original Glee, is really what this is.
Yes.
So you're welcome, Ryan Murphy, for that idea.
Right?
And of course, Clifton, you're a father. Your wife, Dee Dee Magno Hall, is also a performer, and your kids are dipping into that too. So how wonderful is that? I love that.
Oh, it's awesome. It's so awesome. Like you said to Chris, I mean, the whole Bright, he was so enigmatic. I don't know what the word I meant to say, but he's just so big that he reaches around, around the world, and it's just so amazing that his legacy is still going on, and and with my generation of my two boys, it's cool to see them wanting to get into it. And so, no pressure or anything like that to them. But yeah, they're starting to get into it, and of course, just like Chris said, live in the moment, be real, and
For sure,
and
for sure.
what everything Mr. Bright tried to pass on to us.
That's so awesome. Now, speaking of daddies and new families, Jordan is a new dad. Let's all air clap because baby is sleeping right now. And they can hear us from Switzerland. Hi, Jordan. Thank you so much for joining us.
How are you,
What time?
Kimee?
It's late there. It's late.
It is late.
Yes,
it is late.
So thank you
But
so much
to
for
be
hanging
fair,
in there and for hanging into Clifton's story as well. Now, you, sir, have traveled all over the world with as a professional opera singer. A lot of people will know your voice. You maybe were on stage with Chris when he peed. That's how beautiful your voice is. I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
right.
might have done that backstage.
I might have
That's
been the
right.
reason.
You
Sorry.
might have been the reason. Yeah, sorry, Chris. But can you tell us, you've had such a fantastic career as well. How has your work with Mr. B kind of led you into your profession?
I mean, it's the whole story. I wouldn't be here. There's zero chance I wouldn't have been here. I didn't have any experience with Mr. Bright until my senior year. I grew up in Kailua. We'd been to see the shows. My family had been involved in theater forever. But my ambition was to play in orchestras. I actually went to the audition for Damn Yankees with my trombone, intending to audition for the orchestra. And he told me, well, we don't do that here. This is for the singers, but you know how to read music, so why don't you sing something for us? And I had to
Oh,
explain.
and then
I don't
the
sing.
voice was found.
I was embarrassed of my voice. Most boys,
Oh
the
my
voice breaks
goodness.
at 13, 14, 15. My voice broke at 11. I can remember at the elementary school sixth grade graduation song, there were 150 boy sopranos singing The Wind
Oh
Beneath
my
My Wings and one guy
goodness.
doing this.
Oh my gosh. How
And I was
wonderful.
so embarrassed of my voice, I wouldn't even sing Happy Birthday.
Oh
And
my
Mr. Bright
gosh.
said, come on, you can do it. You know how to read music. We need men. It's going to be fun just to come out. And I'm looking around and I say, there's some good looking dancing girls here. It might not be such a bad place to hang out. Okay, I can do this. And, he took me through on the piano one time. I sang it and they gave me a part because I
Oh
had a
my
low voice and they needed
gosh.
somebody with a low voice.
I love that story so much. And Mr. B just had that gift, not only of seeing something special in someone, but also getting it out of them, like to get that insecurity and just to let you know that that's what makes you special. Oh my God.
Yeah,
So
don't
many
make us cry,
things.
Kimmy.
I mean, it goes back to the motto that we know, right? The tagline, the Mr. B famous, what we live by, I guess, as bright kids, which is believe in yourself. And that is definitely what he's taught all of us, So we know that he always used to say, believe in yourself. Just kind of quickly, is there any other piece of advice or something he said to you personally that has stuck with you? We'll go backwards this time. We'll go back to you, Jordan. Is there anything that you can kind of remember that Mr. B has shared with you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, no matter where I'm working, no matter what the production is, if it's in a language I speak or if it's something that I'm having to translate, I always remember that he says, if you're not having fun, you're missing something. It's called a play. We're supposed to be having fun out
Oh
here.
my
So
gosh.
even if you're doing heavy, dramatic, twisted, psychotic kind of dark material, you got to find a way to have some kind of fun, even if
Sure.
it's just with your colleagues.
Well, that character is having fun. Sweeney Todd's having a great time. Um, Clifton, what about for you? What is your piece of advice?
Oh my goodness! Again, long stories. No. Yes,
We don't have
his
that much
whole
time.
believe in yourself, right? Believe in yourself. Watching him as I grew up, I was a young kid. I feel, he showed me, as being a father and a husband now, the example of being such a wonderful father, being a wonderful husband. That not only did he believe and teach the believe in yourself model, but to me, he taught me to believe in God. And he had this great example of living righteously, being the good. And I really believe that, Mr. B, he believed that there was B believing that there was good in the world. And he was always that be the good. Every time we saw him, he was always the light. He was the bright
Yes.
light, So I really appreciate him living an example and living boldly for Christ. So.
Oh, so awesome. Thank you, Clifton, for sharing that. And last but not least, again, the OGG. Chris, I'm sure you have lots of pieces of advice, but what's something that has kind of stuck with you from your grandpa?
I wish I could echo everything that Clifton just said, because that's pretty spot on for me as well. I mean, there's a lot of things, obviously, that he's told me, a lot of jokes, none of which I'll say here. I think ultimately, I think what was so amazing about him is, as his grandson, I got to see that he was just so accessible all the time. Always
yes.
willing to, he could be on stage. I could run up to him as a toddler and say, "Papo," and he would, be right there. And that happened many times. It happened once when the actual show was going on, which is a whole other story.
You see,
But
maybe it's good that you're behind the scenes now. You're just a scene stealer with the, the thing that I won't say it again. What happened on stage and you running up, but it's so wonderful, and it's how cool. Again, like we have so many amazing moments that we've shared with Mr. B one-on-one as students, as family members, as everything. So it's just been so fantastic to check in with you folks. I wish you all the best. I hope we can see you in person soon. That would be fantastic.
Yes.
And I just want to say thank you, and let's do this again. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Okay. Aloha,
Let's do it.
guys.
Let's
We'll
do
see you soon.
Aloha.
See you guys.
See ya. Bye, guys.
Back to you, Devin.